Three classic Delta blues style licks with a steady bass. We're gonna combine them into one practice routine. It's gonna sound like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Let's break that down. Okay, close look at the fretboard, getting started breaking down these licks, learning how to keep the thumb going while mixing in these cool blues scale phrases. Real quick before we jump in, I just want to let you all know I have a new TrueFire course available. It's called One Man Jam Acoustic Volume 1. And it's a collection of practice routines that mix together a wide variety of rhythm and lead techniques in a bunch of different styles. And you can find the link for that in the description down below. Okay, now for our licks today, just a few prerequisites. We want to get down some chord shapes and also some overlap in scales, so that way you can understand how these licks work. Okay, so first things first, we have a capo here on the 3rd fret. That's going to put us in the key of G, but of course you can move this fret to fret or ditch the capo altogether to transpose. Now we're going to be doing everything around this E dominant 7 chord, and for that reason we're going to be discussing things as if we're in the key of E. Okay, so first the chord shapes. There's two different ways that you can play an open position E dominant 7 chord. You can play it with the 2nd fret A string and 1st fret G string, just a 2-finger chord. Or you can play it as a 4-finger chord, setting up a basic E major triad and adding your pinky to the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, and also at our disposal is the E dominant 7 chord played with a D7 shape. Simply taking a D7 chord up a full step, we have E dominant 7, frets 4, 3, 4 of the G, B, and high E strings. All right, great little chord shape there. Okay, so practice those 3 shapes, the E7 with the 2-finger variety, the 4-finger variety, and played with the D7 shape, just like that. Now, surrounding these shapes, we have 2 positions of the minor blues scale that you have to get down. The first one is the standard position open minor blues scale. Okay, so that was 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3. All right, give that a little practice. Okay, without the capo, that would be the E minor blues scale. But with the capo here on the 3rd fret, it's technically the G minor blues scale. Now, adjacent to that position, we have the upper extension. Very useful soloing position. That's going to be the 4th fret G, 3rd fret B, up a full step, then the high E string 3, 5, 6. And that note right there is the flatted 5th. Right there, that's the blue note. All right, where all that tension is gonna come from. Okay, so we're gonna use those scales to create these licks. Make sure you have them down and commit it to muscle memory. Okay, very well done everybody. You have those prerequisites down. Now you're ready to start learning some licks. Once again, this practice routine is gonna look and sound like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and... And lick number 1. Get that into your ear. Okay, so we have that bass note thumping on the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The lead is either landing on top of those quarter notes or in between. Now, there's a misconception that when you're learning pieces like this, you need to learn how to play two things at the same time, the bass and the lead. But really, you need to learn them as one solid part. The trick is just taking it beat by beat and breaking it up into digestible chunks. Okay, so for this lick, we're gonna start off hitting the low E string open and pairing that with the G string 4th fret and B string 3rd fret, of course, relative to the capo. So we're gonna play one and, that's one beat of music. One and, playing with the thumb, index, and middle fingers. All right, next we're gonna play a triplet. 1, 2, 3. The bass and then the highs twice by themselves. You put that together, we got 1 and 2 and All right, next we're gonna do something similar now with the 2nd fret of the G and 2nd fret B string, barring with my middle finger. All right, the bass and the highs together, and then the highs by themselves. All right, so far you have. And then finally, to finish up this measure of music, we're gonna play a classic technique there. We're playing the open strings and hammering onto the G string 1st fret. Then going to the D string 2nd fret by itself. Okay, you put that full measure of music together and it should sound like this. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Without my counting. Alright, and tap your foot. Make sure that your thumb is hitting that bass note every single time your foot hits the floor. So. Alright, now getting into the next measure of music, this lick is going to sound like this. And real slow. Okay, so this one has some very digestible sections. Section 1. So that's 1 and 2 and. That was the low E string by itself. 3rd fret high E string with a slight bend. Both E strings together, right there on beat number 2, and then an 8th note, open B string. Alright, it's so important, I cannot stress this enough, that you practice counting as you play and tapping your foot. 1 and 2 and. Alright, then on beat number 3, we're gonna play. That was 3 and a triplet. Alright, so that was the open low E string and the B string 3rd frets together, open high E string, back to the 3rd fret B. You put those two parts together and we have 1 and 2 and 3 and Once more, 1 and 2 and 3 and Then finishing up this measure we're gonna play. Alright, right there on beat number 4, we're gonna grab the low E string and 2nd fret G together, and we're gonna slide up and slide back, nice and fast. Then pull off to the open string G, before going to the 2nd fret of the D string by itself. Right there on beat 4. You add that into the mix and we have, in our second lick, put in measures 1 and 2 together, it should sound like this, nice and slow. A 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Alright, now, the last lick that we have is kind of this ending lick that you hear in a ton of different songs and a lot of live performances. Looks and sounds like this. Great way to end a blues progression. Once more. Okay, so we're hitting the low E string twice, this time as 8th notes. 1 and. Next, we're gonna grab 2 and 2 of the G and B together, back to the bass note, and then we're going to slide up to the E7 chord played as a D shape, which if you'd like, you can pair once more with the low E string, especially if you're ending the tune. So 1 and 2 and 3, and then just letting it ring to finish up. Okay, put all those ingredients together and it should sound like this. A 1, 2, 3, like that. Practice it nice and slow, get it into your muscle memory. Remember, the key to that is just taking it part by part, beat by beat, counting each of those beats, making sure your foot's tapping, playing to a metronome, and like magic, this is going to start to come together for you. If you need some additional guidance, you can head over to patreon.com/Swiftlessons to download my tab and also my Guitar Pro. That will allow you to loop sections and practice them bit by bit, and also manipulate the BPM. If you want some more acoustic routines to practice, then you can head over to my True Fire course, which is, once again, One Man Jam Acoustic Volume 1, and I also have One Man Jam Blues available for you there as well. So until next time, this is Rob coming at you, now from Summers Point, New Jersey, saying happy picking.